Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning, everybody.
Bhante.
Okay. Today we are going to let me see. Okay. You all can hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. Uh, Today we must want to continue our Dhamma talk. This time I like to talk on another stanza from Samyutta Nikaya, from the Devata Samyutta, that is, what is this? Devata Samyutta, that is Samyutta dedicated to divine beings, Devata. In this last week, I spoke on one stanza from the same section of Samyutta Nikaya. Today I am going to speak on another section from the same Samyutta Nikaya. It is translated into English as Connected Discourse. So, this time a deity came and asked the Buddha, do you know, dear sir, emancipation, release, seclusion for beings? So he asked only 3-part question. Then Buddha replied, yes, I know, friend, emancipation, release and seclusion for living beings. Then Buddha elaborated. Then the deity asked him again, but in what way, dear sir, do you know emancipation, release and seclusion for beings? Buddha gave a very beautiful reply in, of course, all are in Pali. He said, Nandi bhava parikhena sanya vinyana samyuta sankhya Vedananang nirodha upasama evam kvahang ahuso janami sattanang nimokkang pamokkang vivekanti. That means, by the way of by the utter destruction of utter delight and in existence, by extinction of perception and consciousness, by the cessation and appeasement of feelings. In this way, friends, that I know for beings emancipation, release and seclusion. Now, the stanza seems very simple, but it has a very deep meaning. So, he called it, this deity called the Buddha, dear, in Pali it's called Marisa. Marisa means a friend. The deity considered the Buddha as his friend, not an ordinary friend, but a good friend. Good friend is called in Pali, in other words, Kalyan Mitta, good friend. There is a very famous dialogue between the Buddha and Venerable Ananda. Ananda said to Buddha one day, Venerable Sir, it is one half of spiritual life depends on Kalyan Mitta. Kalyan Mitta. Then Buddha said, not only one half, but the entire practice of the path leading to liberation depends on good friends. Entire path is the Noble Eightfold Path, leading up to the attainment of full enlightenment. Good friend is one who encourages you to practice, and he himself practices. He practices the Noble Eightfold Path diligently, and he instructs you to practice the Noble Eightfold Path, because he is the one who knows the benefit of practicing Noble Eightfold Path. So he speaks out of his own personal experience. Kalyanamitta is not talking to you from his book knowledge by memorizing, remembering suttas, but he speaks to you from his own personal experience. And therefore that goes right into your heart. There's a big difference between talking from the heart and from talking from the brain. You talk from as a theory, it is very superficial. You don't have an experience to feel what you say. So the Kalyanamitta is such a person. So the deity thought the Buddha is a very good Kalyanamitta. Kalyanamitta never give you wrong advice, never mislead you, 100% honest and sincere. And Kalyan Mitta is looking forward to your well-being and happiness. He has a lot of metta, compassion. He appreciates your success. He would not be jealous of your success. And so forth, so many wonderful qualities a Kalyan Mitta has. And associating with such a friend is an inspiration. He inspires you to practice. Anyway, this is how the deity addressed the Buddha. And then Buddha said, by utter destruction or defilement in existence, now destruction or defilements based on various things. They are called, depending on viveka, this stanza also says vivekanti, pamokkang vivekang, released seclusion from beings, seclusion. There are various types of seclusions. Primarily, there are four types of seclusion. Three of them are more popular than four. What are the three? Physical seclusion, called kaya viveka. Kaya viveka, physical seclusion. Going to a quiet place without human beings, without hustle bustle, activities, vehicles, shopping, shouting and all these things. And then quiet place, one can hide away from human movements and so forth. That is called physical seclusion. Buddha always says, go to the forest, empty house, sit under the tree and so forth. Buddha advised to find physical seclusion. Don't think that this seclusion can be practiced only by monastic monks, but lay people also can find this kind of seclusion occasionally if they are very serious in their practice. No question, even in their homes, they can find a place and time to get this seclusion. That's physical seclusion. Then the second is mental seclusion. It's called Citta Viveka. Citta Viveka. Mental seclusion is actually attaining jhanas. When we attain jhanas, during that period, you are secluded from all other activities. When you practice meditation, you are secluded from all other activities. And that is called, especially practicing concentration, meditation, and attaining jhana. Then the third seclusion is called upadhi viveka, seclusion from all attachment, all kind of attachment, without leaving any attachment. That is a total, perfect, supramundane seclusion. And the fourth kind of seclusion is not very well known and popular. That is called patipassad viveka. Patipassad means complete relinquishment, without anything to do with socializing and so forth. These are the four. Then, Mental seclusion, and I want to elaborate a little more. Mental seclusion, what you call Citta Viveka, is divided into 5-fold. That is Tadanga, Bhavana. Bhavana means abandoning. Tadanga means temporarily abandoning. That means Tadanga. Anga means limbs. Sometimes it is translated as factorial seclusion. Factorial abandoning. That you can do when you develop concentration meditation. For instance, 5 hindrances. When we want to practice meditation, we abandon 5 hindrances, that is kama chanda, desire for sensual pleasures, is abandoned by nekkhamma viveka, vitakka, nekkhamma. Nekkhamma means abandoning, giving up. Nekkhamma. Nekkhamma, you see sankappa in Noble Eightfold Path. Second step is samma sankappa. Samma sankappa, right thought. Right thought is divided into 3. That is nekkhamma sankappa, avyapada sankappa, avihimsa sankappa. By practicing nekkhamma sankappa, you can abandon kama chanda, desire for sensual pleasures. Then next hindrance is vyapada, aversion or anger or hatred. You can overcome by metta, avyapada vitakka in Noble Eightfold Path. Second kind of right thought. Second right thought. By the second right thought you can overcome vyapada, anger. Then third is doubt, vicikiccha. You can overcome by joy, piety factor in the jhanic attainment. Second factor of jhanic attainment. In the jhanic factor, jhana, there are 5 factors. That is vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. Initial application, sustained application, joy, happiness and concentration. I mention initial application as nekkhamma sankappa, vichara as avyapada sankappa, and then piti, joy. So vicikiccha, doubt, you can overcome by practicing joy. Then restlessness and worry you can overcome by vichara and ekaggata. Then thinamidda, sleepiness and drowsiness, you can overcome by happiness, sukha. So this is how we overcome this defilement temporarily. That's called factorial destruction. You line up one factor against the other factor. Kama chanda against realization, giving up, vyapada against metta, and then vicikiccha against joy, sleepiness, restlessness and worry against vichara, sustained thought, and concentration, and sleepiness and drowsiness by happiness. So that is factorial or Tadanga Pahana. Then there is another kind of viveka or Pahana, abandoning, that is called suppression by Vikkhabhanga. Vikkhabhanga means while you are in that jhanic stage, you temporarily overcome all the five hindrances. It is just like when you want to get water from a mossy lake or mossy pond or well, you take a pot, and when you press the pot against the water, all the moss would give way and clear water remains there. As long as you keep pressing your pot in that water, the moss will be away. You stay in the clear water. Similarly, as long as you are in jhanic stage, all the hindrances are not working. They are abandoned during that period. When you come out of that, all the hindrances will come and flood your mind. Just like when you take the pot out of water, all the moss will come and cover the area as before. That is called Vikkhabhanga, abandoning, suppressing temporarily. Then the third kind of destruction is Samuchaya. Samuchaya means completely destroying. And the last is Patipasaddi, that is you abandon it permanently in the fruition stage. When we attain Sotapanna Phala, fruition stage, you abandon those three fetters. So, then you develop right view depending on this attainment, this suppression. It is a very great achievement, and that you do depending on cessation, depending on seclusion, you see, that is viveka, depending on that you overcome your defilement, that is depending on seclusion, and depending on viraga. Viraga means what you call dispassion. And you overcome these defilements depending on nirodha, cessation of these defilements. Then maturing your practice in the attainment of fruition stage. So, for the moment of insight meditator, devoted to the development of the Noble Eightfold Path, develops right view dependent on seclusion in a particular respect, by way of function, and dependent on seclusion by escapes as inclination, since the mind inclines towards the attainment of Nibbana at the time of path, dependent on and develops it dependent on the seclusion by eradication, as I mentioned earlier, and then nirodha, cessation, and overcoming totally, completely. And then Vasagga Parinami. Vasagga means complete abandoning. Then, in the Buddha's explanation, he said, I overcome these defilements, cessation, by I extinguish perception and consciousness. Now, when we attain the the state through jhanas, you come to a stage where you go beyond material experiences, not paying any attention to anything you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Without paying any attention to any of them, you attain what is called Santa Vimokkha, arupa, immaterial attainment. So you go beyond material experiences and have immaterial experience. For instance, the space. It is very profound experience and practice to go beyond all the sensory experiences. For instance, visualizing the space is called akasanancha ayatana, space. Space, you can, when you mentally visualize that your body completely dissolve, and in the body there are places where you find space through our nostrils, through our ear holes, and wherever we have sweat pores and so forth. All these are filled with space. So assume that you have no flesh, no blood, no nothing, but there only is space. That space is called akasa dhatu. Akasa dhatu. Outside other spaces where we live and inside our bodily space are the same. Outside space and inner space are the same. Inner space is very difficult to see because it seems to be filled with bodily parts. But outer space seems to be clear because the objects are sporadic, not very closely compact. Therefore, outer space you can see. But inner space and outer space, akasa dhatu, is the same. So if you visualize that and focus mind on that, then your mind will be filled with the perception of space. Vijnana. Akasanancha ayatana. Akasanancha ayatana. Ayatana means the place where a lot of activity is going on. In the space, a lot of activities are going on, but the space is still remain as space. And so we go on practicing like this, then until we come to a stage where perceptions and feeling comes to an end. It's called sanya vedita nirodha. Sanya vedita. Sanya means perception. Vedita comes from the vedana, feeling. At that level, perceptions and feelings come to an end. So Buddha said, extinction of perceptions and cessation and disappearance of feelings. Cessation, disappearance of feeling, extinction of perception and consciousness. So, when this deity asked the Buddha, how did he get emancipation, total liberation is called emancipation, Nimokkha. There are two words, Vimokkha and Nimokkha. Vimokkha, Nimokkha are same, they are synonymous. So Deity asked how he got Nimokkha. He used the word Nimokkha rather than Vimokkha. Both are the same. So Buddha said, I, friend, have overcome I learned how to extinguish and release, liberate of myself by overcoming my perceptions, feeling, and consciousness. It is the consciousness. As long as consciousness exists, then mentality, materiality exists. You know, in the dependent origination formula, depending on consciousness, mentality and materiality exist. So when you destroy consciousness, you destroy avidya, sankhara, volitional formations. So this extinguishing volitional formations is implied because when consciousness is eliminated, there is no place for volitional formations. Volitional formations exist as long as consciousness exists. And therefore, Buddha, in his reply, he said, I, by overcoming consciousness, perceptions, feelings. Now, feeling is another major factor of suffering. Four Noble Truths, number one is dukkha. Dukkha is suffering. Suffering is a feeling. When you destroy feeling, you destroy suffering. That's what it means. So Buddha destroyed all of them. That is, he managed to destroy suffering. How did he destroy suffering? By destroying desire. By, I said, patipassadi, that means seclusion, emancipation, release and seclusion. What is the seclusion? Seclusion from greed. When you are secluded from greed, you are liberated from suffering, because greed is the cause of suffering. So, in very simple question that the deity asked the Buddha, Buddha gave very profound answer in which entire theory, practice and result are mentioned. Theory, practice and results all are mentioned in this answer. All are mentioned in brief, not in details. In our talks, series of talks from Samyutta Nikaya, I bring out these meanings, the profound meaning of the Buddha's teaching, inserted into the teaching in Samyutta Nikaya. So, friends, in short, the deity asked the Buddha, how, dear sir, you know emancipation, release and seclusion for beings? He asked general question for beings. And then Buddha said, I overcome by the utter destruction of delight and existence, inexistence, delight and inexistence, sanya vijnana, nandi bhava parikkaya. Nandi means delight, bhava means becoming, parikkaya destruction, abandoning. Bhava is another name for volitional formations. Bhava means thought. We keep committing bhava. Bhava means there are two kinds of bhava, kamma bhava, vipaka bhava. Kamma bhava means committing kamma. Vipaka bhava means reaping the results of karma. There are two kinds of bhava, two kinds of becoming. Karma becoming and becoming. Bhava, karma bhava, result becoming, ripening the result. So, when we have thought, sanya vijnana, perception and consciousness. Perception is one of the thoughts and planted in consciousness. And the thought planted in consciousness has a desire. And if there is desire, there is ignorance. See, all these are connected. And therefore, when Buddha gave this answer, I destroy bhava, nandi bhava parikkina, desire and becoming. What becoming? Committing karma and result. Karma is called sometimes sankhara. Sankhara. When we commit sankhara, and then we have their result. And we commit sankhara because of our ignorance. If we don't have ignorance, we don't commit karma or sankharas. So he explained in brief the way how he came to liberation, Nimokkha. By extinction of perceptions and consciousness, by the cessation of appearance of feeling, by the cessation, appeasement of feeling, cessation and appeasement of feeling, or in this way, friend, I am liberated. So the deity was pleased and thanked the Buddha and left him. Now, this kind of discourses seem to be very brief, but enriched, full of meaning, with rich meaning. I think this may be enough for today's Dhamma talk, and you may, if you remember the factors I mentioned in the Dhamma talk, to ask me a question tomorrow, then we will have a tomorrow Dhamma discussion. Now let us do some meditation. Okay? Okay. You may not see it very clearly. Okay. Okay. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Okay, friends, we all have enough instructions. Now we keep practicing meditation, and then I will ring the bell to end the session. Okay? By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Friends, we want to end this session, and I want to share our metta with all as we normally do. May all beings who are in hospitals suffering from various diseases and taken care of by very compassionate doctors and nurses, hospital staffs, may they recover very soon and return to normal life and continue their Dhamma practice and attain liberation from any kind of suffering and sickness. May all the doctors, nurses, hospital staffs particularly, who are sacrificing their comfort, risking their life to take care of these people, may they continue their compassionate service and practice Dhamma and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who have been suffering from grief over the death of their loved ones, may they be relieved from all grief and continue their Dhamma practice, understand the nature of Dhamma, nature of existence, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. Those who are particularly in various trouble spots, war zones, and poverty-stricken areas where there are all kinds of discriminations, may they all be released from such states, find peace, solace and comfort, and practice Dhamma. May they relieve from all samsaric suffering and attain Nibbana. May all those who are generously supporting various projects everywhere in the world find peace, comfort, and happiness through their own generous practice and practicing meditation and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in various places, various states, find peace, happiness, and liberate from samsaric suffering. And I want to wish you all peace and happiness and liberate yourself from samsaric suffering. Okay?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank
you,
Bhagalam.
Bhante. Thank you.
Didaya Sudadeva.
Bhante.
Teruan
Sadhu,
Saranai,
sadhu.
Bhante.
Teruvan Saranai Swami Mahanta. Mary.
Okay.
Happily.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
You all have a wonderful day. Eh?
Same to you. Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Bhante.
All friends.
You too. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Maitri and Bhante, and where is the sun?
Night, Bhante.
And Anuma, Chitra, Visakha, and so forth. Anuji, Nena,
Bhante Nivan Sapale Vega.
Okay,
Didaya Sudadeva.
Teruvan Saranai.
Everyone, Saranam.
Everyone, Sharon.
Good. Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. Bye.
So